No One Will Save You was released a few weeks ago on Hulu or Disney Plus Star, depending on where you live. It is a alien home invasion type movie starring Kaitlyn Dever, and me being lazy, I was supposed to review this film a few weeks ago, but I took the time and finally watched it last night. And in this video, I am going to talk spoilers. So it has been out, I think it came out September 22nd, so it's been out for a decent amount of time. It is available on Hulu or Disney Plus Star, again, as I said, depending on where you live. But we're going to dive into stuff that happens later on in the film that could definitely be considered a spoiler. So if you haven't seen it, click away from the video now. I was really interested going into this film because I didn't know much about the plot. I actually did not know it was like a supernatural alien type invasion movie. I just knew it had Kaitlyn Dever, who I love. I think she's a great actress, and it was supposed to be very good. Most people really enjoyed it, and for me, I can say I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. I have quite a few problems with this movie that I will discuss, but overall, it is a solid movie. It's pretty short, so it's a pretty easy watch, but for me, right from the opening, I was kind of interested in what's going on in Bryn, who's obviously Kaitlyn Dever, what's going on in her life. And we see visually through stuff. I'm glad it wasn't just told to us through dialogue, but we see that her mother is gone. We don't ever learn about her father, or I might have missed it, but I don't think we ever learn about him. And something happened with someone named Maud, who is assumed to be her best friend. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it, Maude. And she's writing letters to her the whole time, so it's kind of implied that she's an old friend that passed away. And again, visually, you see as the film goes on, her parents don't seem to like Bryn that much. Her mom spits in her face one time at the police station after she's, writing a letter to Maud. She's been doing this, but I'm not sure if this film takes place like now in like 2023 or if it's supposed to take place in 2019, because it says that Maud died in, I think, 2012 was the time, and her mom died, like Bryn's mom died in 2019. So I'm pretty sure it takes time now, but it seems that Bryn is very obsessed with writing letters and all this stuff. You see it in some rooms, and I was really interested in that plot point. I thought that was one of the most interesting things that the film had going for it. And right from the opening, right from kind of the first big alien action scene, you're invested. You see a thing outside the window and you're like, oh, maybe it's a raccoon or something. And then you hear weird noises, the doors open, you're like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And me not knowing it was an alien movie, when you start to figure out that stuff, it was quite fun. I will say, I wish the alien design was a little less generic, because when you look at the alien emoji, it looks like these ones. I mean, I know there's different versions of them, but the face alone is very stereotypical alien, but that's totally unimportant when it comes to the issues with this movie, because the tension that the director builds is very good. There's lots of scenes inside the house, which is, it's not a big location type movie. It's mostly taking place in her house or variations of places close by. And the tension is really good because you never really know when the jump scare or whatever it is going to be. And there really isn't a lot of jump scares. There's one really good scare, I can say, when she's in the basement and then the camera turns and it's just sitting behind her like a frog almost, and there's no or any big noise. It just kind of, you see it and you're like, oh shit, or whatever, and it moves out of the way, stuff like that, which I thought was really good. This movie easily could have cheaped out when it came to jump scares and all this stuff, but for the most part it didn't. I thought the scenes were quite thrilling, although I will say there was a huge lack of emotional attachment. As much as they try to set this thing up with her mother and Maud and all this stuff, I did not feel it was there. I was waiting the whole time to see what the story was with her friend Maud, and when it's finally told to you in the third act, it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense why she feels that way, why she feels guilty. But for me, that's really all I was waiting for with this movie. I wasn't sure if she was trying to get the aliens to go away, if she was trying to just board up her house and avoid them and get away from the people in town. It's just, the plot wasn't always clear. And what this film really felt like was a short story that was stretched to 90 minutes, because even 25 minutes into the movie, I was like, okay, where is this gonna go? And it always goes in a place where you don't expect, which I enjoyed for the most part, but there are some weird sequences, like that scene where she just wakes up and it's like, oh, was it all a dream? Nope, just kidding. That felt like filler scenes that, oh, we didn't have enough for an hour and a half. And it's not that the whole I didn't know where it was going thing was an issue. It just felt like there wasn't a fully written out plot. There wasn't, this all gonna happen. It was like, I mean, I guess we could go here, but we should add this just to fill the time. It kind of felt like that sometimes. But I have to say, this film looks really good. It's shot very well. The color, everything's nice. The effects, for the most part, are pretty good. There's a weird shot in the third act where the visuals kind of go a bit lower. They're a bit worse. But for a film that feels low budget, it being $22.8 million, which is not low budget, but it did feel a little bit low budget. I enjoyed that feeling of it. But as I said, the lack of character attachment and plot definitely hurt the movie for me and made it a lot less interesting, because I was just like, okay, what's the end goal of this movie? It's not really set up, but Kaitlyn Dever giving this amazing performance with maybe 3 spoken lines in the whole movie is very good. And I like the visual storytelling in the first act. It's just the second act that's like, where is this going? And then the third act, you think it's going one way, you think it's going the other way, and it would be like, oh, that's a nice turn. That doesn't make sense. So would I recommend this movie? Yeah, it seems that most people have enjoyed it more than me, and maybe I went in with my expectations a bit too high, but it is a fun and thrilling home invasion movie, but it does feel like something that has been done better before with a film like Signs, or even a film like Nope, which came out recently. It feels like there is a better version or more complex version of this film, but as I said, it's a very fun and digestible movie. No One Will Save You is a thrilling quick watch featuring a great performance from Kaitlyn Dever. It's nothing groundbreaking from the genre and does feel familiar at times, but Brian Duffield's snappy direction helps build the intense moments. I can't say I was too emotionally invested, but I had a good time here. I'm going to give No One Will Save You a 3 out of 5. And when it comes to the ending, it's just odd. Like it really just felt like it was odd for the sake of being odd. It doesn't really make sense, which I know is the point, and a lot of people be like, you didn't understand it or whatever, but I don't know, this film didn't hit as much as I expected it to, but it was still fun. I'm glad I watched it to check out what all the hype was about, and it is a good time. I must say, with all the problems I had and all that, the action sequences are very thrilling. There's lots of moments where she's just stepping around and you don't actually know where the alien is, and you're kind of put in her perspective, which I think is really great. It's a really great way to tell it. I'd be interested to see what the director does next, and obviously what Kaitlyn Dever does next, because she's amazing. But if you've seen No One Will Save You, let me know what you think in the comments down below. And thank you all for watching. I will see you guys next time. Over and out.